The lights inside the arena felt different that night. There were no roaring crowds shaking the building, no deafening chants rolling down from 80,000 fans. Instead, there was a strange silence hanging over the heavyweight division, the kind of silence that only exists when a fighter has something to prove. And standing in the middle of it all was Anthony Joshua, a man once viewed as unbeatable, now carrying the pressure of redemption on his shoulders. Across from him stood Kubrat Pulev, the veteran known as the Cobra. Older, battle-tested, stubborn, and dangerous enough to ruin the comeback story before it even began. Pulev walked to the ring with the confidence of a man who believed he had waited his whole life for one final shot at glory. Joshua, meanwhile, carried a different energy, calm, focused, controlled. But underneath that composed expression was the memory of one of the most shocking nights in boxing history, the night Andy Ruiz shattered the aura of invincibility around him. From the opening bell, the tension was obvious. Neither fighter rushed forward recklessly. They circled carefully, studying each other like chess players waiting for the first mistake. Joshua stood tall behind that long jab, using every inch of his reach advantage, while Pulev searched for timing, hoping to counter over the top exactly the way Ruiz once had. The commentators immediately noticed the strategy. Pulev needed to disrupt the jab if he wanted any chance of surviving. But that was easier said than done. Joshua's jab looked sharp from the beginning. It snapped forward with authority, landing clean against Pulev's face while keeping the Bulgarian at a distance. Pulev tried edging closer, trying to force exchanges, but Joshua's athleticism and movement made the difference obvious early. The younger champion looked stronger, faster, and more disciplined. Yet despite that control, there was still caution in Joshua's approach. Everyone watching remembered what happened when he became reckless against Ruiz. Every aggressive step forward came with a shadow of hesitation behind it. Still, the danger was building. As the rounds progressed, Joshua began revealing pieces of a carefully prepared game plan. The jab wasn't just there to score point. It was bait. Every time Pulev reacted to it, Joshua looked for openings around the guard. That left hook started appearing more frequently, looping around the side where Pulev had shown vulnerability in previous fights. The commentators pointed it out instantly. Joshua and his team had done their homework, and then the momentum shifted violently. Joshua suddenly exploded with a brutal combination that changed the entire mood of the fight. A clean right hand crashed into Pulev's head, and immediately you could see the effect. The Cobra stumbled backward toward the ropes as Joshua sensed weakness like a predator smelling blood. The champion unleashed uppercuts, hooks, and straight rights in rapid succession. Every shot landed with terrifying precision. One uppercut in particular snapped Pulev's head upward and nearly folded him where he stood. The veteran tried surviving by turning away, almost exposing his back to escape the punishment. The commentators were shocked. Some even believed the referee could have stopped the fight right there. Joshua was no longer cautious. He looked like the destroyer people once feared before the Ruiz upset. Uppercuts tore through Pulev's defense repeatedly, each one finding a home as if guided by instinct. And yet, somehow, Pulev survived. That's what made the fight fascinating. Many heavyweights would have collapsed permanently after that assault, but Pulev kept standing. Wobbled, hurt, exhausted, but still standing. It reminded everyone why heavyweight boxing remains one of the most unpredictable sports in the world. One punch can change everything, but so can heart. Joshua understood the danger better than anyone. Even while dominating, he never completely abandoned discipline. The memory of getting caught by Ruiz still lingered in his mind. The commentators mentioned it constantly. They could see Joshua fighting with controlled aggression instead of blind rage. He pressed forward carefully, choosing moments instead of chasing chaos. It was the performance of a fighter trying to evolve. Pulev, meanwhile, continued searching for opportunities. He tried rough tactics, leaned in close, bullied on the inside, and threw awkward looping shots in hopes of disrupting Joshua's rhythm. At times he managed to make things uncomfortable. He landed enough punches to remind Joshua that one mistake could still change the night. But the difference in speed was undeniable. Joshua's head movement looked sharper than before. His conditioning looked elite. At over 240 pounds, he moved lightly on his feet, bouncing in and out of range while firing heavy jabs and explosive right hands. It wasn't just power anymore. There was patience in his boxing now. Experience. Calculation. Round after round, Joshua slowly drained the belief out of Pulev. The Bulgarian veteran showed flashes of toughness, especially in the middle rounds when he finally began pressing forward with more urgency. For a brief moment, it seemed like he might claw his way back into the fight. He forced exchanges. He pushed Joshua backward occasionally. The commentators even admitted it was Pulev's best stretch of the contest. But every little success came with a brutal price. Whenever Joshua landed clean, the impact looked devastating. Pulev's wide defensive style left dangerous openings, and Joshua exploited them repeatedly. Straight right hands split the guard. Uppercuts crashed through the middle. Hooks wrapped around the side. It became clear that Joshua was operating on another level physically. And yet this fight was about more than punches. This was about reclaiming identity. Before the Ruiz upset, many fans believed Anthony Joshua would dominate the heavyweight division for years. He was the superstar champion, knocking opponents out in spectacular fashion while selling out massive stadiums across the United Kingdom. Then one shocking defeat changed the narrative completely. Suddenly critics questioned his chin, his mentality, even his courage. Against Pulev, Joshua wasn't just defending titles. He was fighting to restore fear. The commentators spoke about the heavyweight landscape constantly throughout the match. Names like Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder hung over the broadcast like storm clouds. The division had become a war for supremacy, and Joshua knew he needed a statement performance to keep pace with his rivals. Fury had boxed brilliantly against Wilder. Wilder had destroyed opponents with terrifying one-punch knockouts. Joshua needed his own moment again. And by the championship rounds, you could feel that moment approaching. Pulev was still dangerous, but exhaustion had started taking over. His reactions slowed. His feet dragged heavier across the canvas. Joshua, on the other hand, looked increasingly loose and confident. He bounced on his toes, flicked sharp jabs, and measured distance like a sniper waiting for the perfect opening. Then it happened. Joshua unleashed a vicious sequence beginning with a right hand that landed flush and sent Pulev crashing down once more. The veteran rose again, somehow refusing to quit despite the punishment he had endured all night. But there was a sense of inevitability now. Joshua